I keep my goals to myself, cause whenever I share it with folks, they get a look upon their face and their memory floats to a time where their goals and the stars.
What's good? We're going to get into TNA Impact from July the 2nd, 2026. This was a pretty decent episode of Impact. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Main reason is because they focused on Ricky Sosa and Leon Slater, TNA's future. And I like that. It's a wise decision. And it seems like they're setting up something massive for those two. Probably at Bound for Glory, where both of them are going to be crowned champion. For Ricky Sosa, he'll probably end up being the X Division champion. And for Leon Slater, he's probably going to more likely be the new TNA World Heavyweight champion. So I do like that. That's probably where all this is going to lead, with those two standing tall, ending Bound for Glory as champion. I think that's great. They're also pushing more young talent in KC Navarro. He's going to begin a program with Nic Nemeth, which is great, so I do like that. So TNA is doing very, very good in that department. So I do like what they're doing. So TNA is generally trying to change. Before we get into the review, let's go over some news and notes real quick. So we've had two departures from TNA. Both Mike Santana and Eric Young are gone from TNA. So Mike Santana chose not to re-sign with TNA, which we all figured he wouldn't re-sign anyway, since he lost at Slammiversary to Nic Nemeth. He was mentioned on the show, but, he didn't appear, so that's fine. So, clearly, Mike Santana is on his way to the Performance Center, more than likely. We should see him on NXT television, vignette-wise, probably in the coming weeks. So, I do like that. NXT needs it. I've been a big advocate for Mike Santana coming over to NXT to help the product out. And, Mike Santana could easily be the face of NXT after Tony D'Angelo, more than likely, and hold it down for a while, for sure. So, I like that. Apparently, Eric Young, he didn't re-up with TNA either. So, apparently, for whatever reason, he's going to go back to WWE, which is dumb, but he's going to be a coach/player. So he's probably going to be more than likely in a Sean Spears-like role, and I hate that. Why? Because I hate Sean Spears and I hate Eric Young. I think that's a bad idea, but it is what it is. I kind of wish the Triple H would have just made him just a coach, and, that would have been fine there, or a backstage producer. That would have been fine. But hopefully, Eric Young won't really be on our television screens too much in NXT, because that would piss me off. But, that's fine with both of them going to WWE, mainly NXT. And again, Eric Young is in his mid-40s. Like, he's not going to be wrestling like that. So, they're probably going to end up having him put some young guys over on the NXT roster for a little bit. And then, after that, probably just move him into a backstage role. I think that's the best thing they can do for him. And as always, let's talk about the ratings. So, the ratings for last week's show came in, and they are not the best. So, for the June 25th show, they drew 188K viewers. That's not good. Because the previous week, they had 255K viewers. So they went down quite a bit. It happens. Again, it fluctuates. I want to say maybe the main reason is because of the World Cup. That's basically probably what it was. So it is what it is. Hopefully, they can bounce back. What did they get in the demo? So the demo was the 0.02 18 to 49 demo. So that's fine, I guess. It is what it is, but maybe they'll pick up eventually in due time. Again, they're pushing new, younger guys, so that's fine. And it seems like TNA is moving away from that old guard. I do think in due time they're probably going to end up getting rid of the system, along with probably Moose and probably Frankie Kazarian. I could see all those guys and Alicia Edwards. I could see all of them probably being, kind of forced to step down and maybe be, producers or something like that. That's what I think they're going to end up, being, because there's no point in TNA holding on to that old guard of talent, right? Like, if they're going to bring in older guys, bring in older guys that can still draw, like an Aleister Black, like the Wyatt Six, right? Like bring those type of guys in for your new old guard. Bring those guys in, right? Like, those are the guys that you need to be pushing. Like Frankie Kazarian and all those guys, no. Move those guys onto the side. It's time. All right, let's go ahead and get into the show. So we kicked the show off with Ryan and Nic Nemeth. Both of them were wearing suits. So Ryan introduced his brother, saying that he's the best wrestler of the last 65K years, which is hilarious. So Nic, he talked about winning the world title. And Ryan Nemeth revealed a large scroll with a list of names that Nic Nemeth has put down permanently, which is kind of funny. He mentioned Randy Orton, Ultimo Dragon, Rey Mysterio, Jeff Hardy, Samoa Joe, The Miz, John Morrison, and all his other personas. Talking about John Morrison, all of his personas, which is hilarious. John Cena, and several people from his high school, which is hilarious. I like that. So KC Navarro showed up. He interrupted. Ryan called him a goofball for doing so. So both KC and Ryan, they exchange words. So Nic calls KC a good kid, quote unquote. And then Nic got tired of them bickering, so he proposed that the two of them face each other in a match tonight, so that they can get all this nonsense out of their system and have them move forward. So Nic continued on by saying that he's the best wrestler in the world, and he challenged anyone to step to him. He said everyone would bow down to him. And then that was the end of the segment. So I like this. This is pretty cool. Clearly, there are no immediate challengers for Nic right now that's worth anything. But with what happened to KC Navarro on this show, I imagine that KC Navarro is probably going to be Nic Nemeth's first opponent. I think that would be good. Nic Nemeth versus KC Navarro for the TNA World Championship. I think that'd be great. Do that on a random episode of TNA Impact. I think that'd be pretty cool. That'd be a match worth seeing, honestly. I'm not gonna hold you guys up because both guys kick ass. I mean, KC's very young. I think KC's like in his mid-20s. I want to say like 24, between 24 and 26, I think. So I like this. This was fine. Moving on from that, this leads us into Gia Miller. She was backstage interviewing Leon Slater. Leon Slater said that he was devastated by not winning the X Division Championship from Cedric Alexander at Slammiversary. He said that he'll face Eddie Edwards tonight. He called Eddie Edwards a disgusting pig and said he would teach him a lesson. Leon Slater said he wanted to be the face of TNA. I love that. Excellent shit here. Excellent. Excellent. And again, this makes perfect sense. I don't believe the rumors that Leon's leaving. He would be foolish to leave. When TNA has been telling us and teasing us for months that Leon is the next guy up, that Leon is going to be the next world champion after after Nic Nemeth, right? So to me, that makes the most sense. I could see him sticking around for a while. Leon needs to. He's only 21. There's no need for him to go to a WWE or AEW. WWE will always be there. AEW, sort of kind of same thing. There's no need for Leon to go there just yet. If anything, if he were to go to WWE, he would have more of an upside there. Because I think if he went to AEW, let's just be honest, he would just be on Collision and Ring of Honor. And he would he would do a couple of Dynamites here and there, sparingly though. So, there's that. All right, moving on from that. This leads us into the first match of the night, which was the first round TNA Knockouts TV Championship. Mara Sade defeated Tasha Steelz. And so basically, it's a 10-minute time limit for all these matches, which is great. So they can't go past 10 minutes, and they can more than likely probably end before the 10 minutes elapse. So I do like that. Excellent stuff here. This is great. So this is kind of like TNA's version of a speed championship, more than likely. That's kind of what it seems like, and it makes perfect sense. And I think 10 minutes is more than enough time for the women to kind of, get themselves over. So this is fine. Mara Sade, she looked so good here. She's great. Love her. She ended up doing a beautiful sit-out powerbomb in the match. Only got a 2 count. Tasha Steelz tried to lock in a submission. Mara Sade got out of it. And then she ended up hitting a super kick, followed up by a moonsault from the top rope for the 1, 2, 3. And Mara Sade wins. So good stuff. I like this. I really do. I hope she ends up winning the tournament. She needs to win it because she deserves a massive push. She's great. She's been a trooper, and she fits like a glove in TNA. Like, when she got released from WWE, was that last year, I believe? Yeah. Her going to TNA was a total godsend, and I think it was wise. And she would look good with gold around her waist. So, right before Mara Sade left, Mustafa Ali and Agent Zero, they were on the ramp. So, there's that. And then Mustafa Ali made a call. Okay, that's fine. It seems like they're going to break up the Order 4, which is great. It needs to happen. I'm tired of the fucking faction. Like, it makes no sense. It serves no purpose. Moving on from that. This leads us into Rich Swann. He's backstage talking to BDE about their upcoming match, and they agreed there would be no hard feelings if either guy won. And then for whatever reason, BDE called him Unk, which is kind of hilarious. Because, Rich Swann is what, probably late 30s. So, there's that. He's probably late 30s, I would say. All right, moving on from that. This leads us into a 6-person challenge or whatever, a 6-pack challenge or whatever. The winner becomes the new number 1 contender to the X Division Championship. That was won by Fabian Aichner. So Fabian Aichner defeated Rich Swann, BDE, Mr. Elegance, and Jason Hotch, and Diener, a.k.a. the hometown man. I am tired of Diener. I really am. It's time for him to go away. They need to make him a producer. And, again, to me, the gimmick is lame. Like, we know it's Diener under a mask. Fabian Aichner winning was the right decision. Made perfect sense. They actually are pushing him pretty heavy, even though he just came into TNA a little over a month ago. So I do like this. This is great. And I like what they're doing here. I really do. All right, moving on. Well, actually, no. This was a six-way scramble match. So, that's fine. So, there's that. Moving on from that. This leads us into Ricky Sosa. He was backstage about to make his way to the ring. And he was interrupted by Expressions and AJ Francis. And they kind of teased a little faction, basically, with Ricky Sosa. But he turned those guys down, so that's fine. All right, moving on from that. This leads us into Mustafa Ali. He was mad at the members of Order 4 for being comfortable with failure. Mustafa Ali said he would go to Daria Ray's office and ask for a tag team title shot for the Great Hands. Okay, that's fine there, whatever. Moving on from that, this leads us into Ricky Sosa. He comes out to the ring, gets a really good reaction. He says that his win at Slammiversary, he talked about his win at Slammiversary. So he vowed that this is only the beginning. So Ricky Sosa was interrupted by the Righteous. So Vincent and Dutch tried to convince Ricky to join them. Vincent said, with the Righteous, there are no limits. The System walked down the ramp. Alicia said the only way that Ricky Sosa could make a name for himself is right with the System. So Eddie Edwards talked about how Bear Bronson joined the System and how he has became a success. He encouraged Ricky to join them. Vincent said that the System just had empty promises. So then Ricky Sosa turns down both sides, which is wise of him because both sides suck. So then this led into a brawl. So Bear Bronson punched Ricky Sosa, and then the System and the Righteous had a stare down, and then the System, they attacked Ricky Sosa, and then Leon Slater came down to make the save, but they were overpowered by the System. So Slater and Sosa got beat up. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Again, I don't understand why TNA is trying to push the System or the Righteous anymore. Enough's enough. Like, stop with this bullshit. Seriously. All right, moving on from that. This leads us into Elijah. He was on this show. He played a brand new song with his guitar. He talked about getting his name, likeness, and image music back at Slammiversary. And he also talked about how he wants championship gold in his future. And I do like that. So I like that. So maybe he's going to go after the exhibition title or the international title that Ali has. Maybe he'll go after one of those two. So there's that. I do like that, though. Or Elijah could go after Nic Nemeth after KC Navarro fails to capture the TNA title. I think that would be great, too. So maybe have Elijah go after the world title. That'd be nice. All right, moving on from that. This leads us into another knockout tournament match. So Heather by Elegance defeated Ali. So there's that. So that's fine. Again, I like the concept of this. This guarantees short matches, and you could do literally 2 or 3 of these on per show. You could literally get away with doing 3 of these every single week because these matches are so short. Because that they're not going to go longer than 10 minutes. And most of them usually go under 10 minutes. So, again, I like this. So, Heather by Elegance wins. She advances. So, that's fine. Moving on from that, this leads us into Zaya Brookside. She comes out. She gets a good reaction of boos. So, she bragged about winning the Knockouts title at Slammiversary. she mocked the fans and Lei Ying Lee. So, Xia Lee walked to the stage and interrupted her. She said that there was a day when she would have been happy for Xia Brookside. Lei Ying Lee talked about Xia cheating to win the title, and she said that she doesn't see a champion. She sees a fake bitch, which was hilarious. I love that. And the crowd chanted with that. They said fake bitch. They chanted fake bitch. I love that. I like that. Fake bitch. I like that. Really, really good stuff there. So, Lei Ying Lee got into the ring. Lei Ying Lee said that now Xia's the one with everything to lose. And Xia Lee said that she wanted her match next week on TNA Impact. And then this led to a little brawl between the two. But Xia Brookside fled. And Lei Ying Lee wants their match next week to be a no DQ match. Okay, that's fine. I actually do like this. All right, moving on from that. This leads us into Daria Ray. She was approached backstage by Mustafa Ali. He requested a tag team title match for the Great Hands. And she said, that sounds like a great idea. And she made the match for next week. Okay, that's fine. Whatever. Moving on from that, KC Navarro, he defeated Ryan Nemeth. And then post-match, Nic Nemeth got into the ring. He went inside the ring. And he forced both KC and Ryan to shake hands. So KC turned his back. And then Nic Nemeth gave KC the danger zone. So there's that. So I like that. So good stuff. Moving on from that, this leads us into the Hardys. They did a backstage promo talking about their tag team title match next week against the Great Hands. Don't care about it. I mean, again, typical broken Hardy stuff. It's fine, but it's also kind of annoying too. All right, moving on from that, this leads us into the main event of the evening. Eddie Edwards defeats Leon Slater, which is not good. So the system that beat up Leon Slater, Ricky Sosa came out to make the save, and they cleared the ring of the system, and then both Leon Slater and Ricky Sosa, they stand tall, and that was the show. So this is fine. I actually do like this. Again, TNA is pushing young talent. You can't knock it, so I like it. I really do. This was a pretty decent episode of TNA Impact. I'm actually kind of excited for the Knockout tournament. I like what they're doing with that. Hopefully Sade will win. Again, they should be able to do at least 3 of these per week because these matches are going to be so short. So I do like that. That's always a plus. Again, I like what they're doing with KC Navarro and Nic Nemeth. I think they're going to end up having KC go after the TNA World title. I think that would be cool for him to be Nic Nemeth's first challenger. Then after he loses, I'm pretty sure Elijah is next in line, which is fine. So I like what TNA is doing. They are bouncing back. They are slowly but surely finding themselves. They've got rid of Tommy Dreamer. They've got rid of Scott D'Amore. They've got rid of Gail Kim, right? They're going to keep Delirious around. They brought in another guy to help out Delirious. I did think that Road Dogg's going to eventually show up in TNA at some point. So we should see him in the next little while, maybe. So we'll see how that goes. But all in all, this was an okay episode of TNA Impact. But what did you guys think? Like, comment, subscribe. Peace.